use this walk to travel overland in search of water. It is a capability that may be key to their survival.
It's not a very fast gait, but it's a very useful gait in that the animal lifts its body off the ground, it can walk over obstacles.
At the other extreme is the belly crawl.
The advantage of having different ways of moving is that you have a choice, depending on how fast you want to get from A to B. So if you're on a very nice, slippery, muddy bank of a river, for example, and there's not really much rush to get there, then you can use a belly crawl. You simply slide down like a toboggan. Just use the limbs to literally propel yourself forwards.
Having a choice of different gaits is yet another way in which crocodiles are adaptable. And that kind of flexibility is the key to evolutionary success. Whether Sarcosuchus shared this is unclear, but Paul now knows enough about the animal to speculate about how it moved.
I think that probably Sarcosuchus would not have been as agile on land as a modern crocodile simply by the weight of its body. I would not say that it was not a quick animal. Their burst speed of even large and heavy animals was probably very great. The power would have been phenomenal. And I think leading that kind of sabotage ambush lifestyle, it would have been extremely effective against animals hiding out in the water. To have this animal at 30-foot length with an enormous tail powering itself out of the water in a flash of a second.
The SuperCroc skull is complete. But to resurrect the whole animal, Paul needs the other 250-odd bones that make up a crocodile. He brought back from the desert bones from various individuals, but never a complete skeleton. Fortunately, he knows someone who can fill in the gaps. In the wilds of rural Maryland, there is a man who spends countless hours surrounded by his kids' toys, carving gigantic pink bones. This is Stephen Godfrey, part paleontologist, part sculptor. Behind its skull, the Sarcosuchus skeleton is similar to that of a modern crocodile, though it's many times as big. So Stephen uses bones from a contemporary croc and quadruples them in size to match the enormous Sarcosuchus skull. Stephen sends his sculpted bones to Paul in Chicago.
Waiting for him for about a week now. Wow, look at that. Look at this. This is the missing hip bone.
Here, Paul's team makes molds of every bone in the skeleton, which are then shipped to Canada to a company called Parte, Prehistoric Animal Structures. Here they turn disjointed bones into skeletons.
This guy rolls on this thing.
The portrait of Sarcosuchus is becoming clearer. Modern crocodiles have provided a lens through which to view this prehistoric beast. Through that lens, we have seen that SuperCroc may have had a wide range of survival tools on which to draw. From a staggeringly powerful bite to a natural antibiotic in its blood. From sophisticated parental care to an unexpected intelligence. But Paul must still answer two final questions before he can complete the finished SuperCroc. Exactly how long was it? And what pose will best embody its essence? For the answers, he must head into the field again. This time, he seeks a crocodilian that more closely resembles Sarcosuchus. There is such a creature. It is rare, endangered, and exotic. But Paul knows just the man to help him find it.
Driving's more dangerous than the crocodiles, that's for sure.
Paul joins forces once again with field specialist Brady Barr in India. where they headed to a crocodile breeding facility in the town of Lucknow. They stop off en route to buy a net.
Nets are hard to come by in other parts of the world. There's a lot of work in that.
They are joined by Brady's colleague, Jerry Martin, an Indian herpetologist with expertise in his country's crocodilians.
You don't want it to get it, you know, don't want it to have to fight against something that's really strong.
One of those species is the object of their mission, perhaps the oddest of today's crocodilians, the gharial. It is the gharial's curious snout, so similar to Sarcosuchus's, which has brought Paul here.
To actually see a surviving relative of one of these animals is just going to be spectacular. Just the way they move, the way they hide, the way they hunt. I'm going to be very curious about how its snout operates and how it lurks about in its habitat. I think it'll be very fascinating.
The team will work at the Cookrail Gharial Rehabilitation Center.
Where are you sitting? Where are you looking for? Yeah. Oh, I see. Whoa, it's going down. It's going down. There's 3 of them.
You know, to capture the gharial means so much to me, being a crocodilian biologist, because it was so close to the brink of extinction. I mean, it was right there. I mean, it was ready to be marked off the list. So what an opportunity for me. I mean, it really is a chance of a lifetime.
They're heading for cover. We got to work it out for ourselves.
I know it.
Let's see if we can catch one.
Jerry Martin, one of the few people in the world with hands-on experience of gharials, knows that this task requires a paradoxical mix of brute force and a delicate touch.
The gharial's specialized jaw is very narrow, proportionate to its body, and it's very thin, and it's a big, heavy animal. It's very muscular because it swims a lot. So when you catch a gharial, it lashes around a lot. You might very easily hurt, damage, or maybe even break off its jaw. So you have to play it like you're catching a 2,000-pound marlin on a 2-pound test line. You need to be very careful.
Brady will have to be cautious and patient. The gharial is particularly hard to snare. Its snout is sensitive to the slightest movement.
Come this way.
They're all in a small space.
Brady has his eye on the big male, with the distinctive gara on the tip of its snout. But there are 8 gharials in this pond, and it's the crocodile you don't see that you have to fear. He must have literally stepped on one of the other animals. It reacted by swiping at him, raking his ankle with its teeth.
It's a good thing.
He was lucky it didn't actually bite him.
Just get this guy done with and you can see your legs. That's good. Yeah, it's going. It's out.
Should I just keep going?
Yeah, keep going back.
They finally managed to get a rope around its snout.
Further.
Stubby worm. Look at it. Look like they've been...
Okay, can you guys pull him up a little further?
Yeah, we probably need to put him up the stairs here. Get more tight, though, very tight.
Because he's going to jerk. Hang on tight.
Whew. Oh, man, we caught the big boy. Caught an adult gharial. Took a bite in the process, but it was well worth it.
Do you mind if I clean this leech off his back?
Nah, concentrate on holding his
Yeah,
legs
you
back.
holding those legs, quit
Forget the
fooling
leeches.
around. Yeah, Sereno's back there playing games.
No, I just trying to clean a leech.
When I helped him dig up these bones, I was focused the whole time. I bring him out here helping us, and he's fooling around.
We don't have leeches on our boat, man. Beautiful animal. Yeah, this is amazing.
He's taking a big breath. Yeah, I'm looking at these scoots and I'm thinking, how much bigger Sarcosuchus is than this
Yeah, well,
thing.
you ought to look at these teeth up here.
Whoa.
Many of these things were almost extinct, you know, in the 70s.
Down to just a few.
Yeah, just less than 200. I mean, and that's worldwide. That's animals in zoos, breeding facilities, and in the wild, less than 200.
But now they've come back.
Yeah, it's a real success story. What you have here? Cool.
Handling this animal, which so resembles its ancient relative, is as close as Paul is going to get to the SuperCroc.
I'm thrilled, of course, to actually be up and actually feel the body of one of these things, because you're normally dealing with these impersonal fossilized bones. This is really up close. It's fabulous. It's unbelievable. You go over the big hole for the jaw muscles in Sarcosuchus, and now you can actually see the pumping muscle right underneath there. And, you know, we're dying to see how much it looks like this animal. But this is just amazing. 383. Wow. 12 feet said 12 and a half feet. 12 and a half feet.
That's a big animal.
Yes, it is. I'm all set up front here.
Paul begins to collect a range of data. To get enough measurements, they must capture a number of animals.
52, 61. Woo! Paul, you want to help me with that? Yeah.
Paul is interested to get measurements from both ends of the size range. The hatchlings are wonderful miniature copies of the giant they earlier released.
We just settled for the largest.
All right.
All right, you guys ready? Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
It's looking over here at me.
Woo! You hear that snap? No, stay there. You're fine. You're fine.
Wow.
Stay still. Don't move. Don't move.
All right. Look at that. Don't move. Woo! All right, put her there, guys. Get it, man. All right. Yeah.
Back in Chicago, Paul now has the critical information he needs to finally calculate the length of the SuperCroc. Using the data from India and Costa Rica, he generates the magic ratio, the relationship between head length and body length in Sarcosuchus.
Based on our measurements on living crocodilians, we think that Sarcosuchus measured 8 times its skull length. That's a lot longer than 20 feet, the record for a living crocodile. That's more than 30 feet. That's a 40-foot crocodile. A croc that even Brady would think twice about jumping on the back of.
Almost a year after they carved the skull out of the desert rock of Niger, and after months spent cleaning and studying bones, after traveling across the globe, capturing and measuring crocs, the culmination of Paul's quest is at hand. In a studio in the Rocky Mountains, SuperCroc is coming to life. Paleoartist Gary Starb is creating the flesh-on model. Now Paul is going to get his first glimpse.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You're a monster.
He is a monster.
Wow. Look at this leg.
It's a massive beast.
Wow, you've got just a beautiful motion going here on this. It's just absolutely gorgeous the way this thing is turning.
It's got that nice side slashing S-curve.
Wow. So you have to build quite a structure to hold this clay.
Right now we've got about 4,400 pounds of clay. So, and I'm sure we're going to come very close to about 5,000 by the time
More than
we're done.
2 tons of clay. Can you imagine being hit by this tail?
I think this tail could flip over a truck.
And I love the way this skull is just tilted and gaping, about ready to swallow you.
For Paul,
It is a massive
it is remarkable to see the animal he's been imagining for so long finally made flesh.
I've been dealing with static, beautiful but fossilized bones, individual bones. To see it together is just amazing. This really gives you a sense of the animal. You know, I've hopped on the back of a live crocodile. That was an amazing experience. To feel the power of the animal, particularly when it's coming back and ready to throw you off its back. And to imagine this animal alive would be incredible.
Yeah, it's funny because the people who have been in here and have seen it have said, this can't be life size. Can it? I said, it is life size.
You've got a dinosaur eater here.
Paul can now visualize the dinosaur eater. 110 million years ago, lurking in one of the huge rivers of the day. Its massive body concealed, primed for ambush. A group of juvenile ouranosaurs drinks warily at the water's edge. The SuperCroc's ultra-sharp senses zero in, picking up the ripples from the lapping herbivores. The combination of speed and power is devastating. Its jaws slam down with many tons of force. Huge teeth penetrate the dinosaur's leathery hide. It is a 110-million-year-old drama that still plays out today. For Paul and Brady, there is one last trip to make, one final crocodile to encounter. They have come to see Sarcosuchus, the SuperCroc. Months have passed since Paul last saw the unfinished model. Now the SuperCroc and their quest are complete.
And it's bigger than I imagined.
That is beautiful. Look at that.
Yeah, that is just beautiful.
And the way he's got all this.
And the detail is just amazing.
Yeah, no, it's just beautiful.
When you see something that is so magnificent, that is so beyond human comprehension in terms of power and size, we tend to be awestruck. The most fundamentally important thing, I think, about Sarcosuchus is to get people to step back and think of 100 million years. Think of how much time has gone before them. Think of how many worlds with strange animals, bigger and more fearsome than they ever could imagine, existed before humans came on to reshape the surface of the earth.
The disappearance of Sarcosuchus shows us that extinction is a fact of life on Earth. But the SuperCroc's legacy is alive in 23 species of crocodile, many of them endangered by the works of man. But today, all 23 species are protected. We know we can speed up the extinction process, but we can also slow it down. If we decide to do so, perhaps these magnificent beasts, the ultimate survivors, will outlast even us.